Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. Spacious rooms filled with fine high-end gear have always been a privilege of the successful, well-heeled and deeply indebted. I would say it's a good thing that, regardless of how awesome these sacred places are, they are no longer necessary for making great music. Today we are going to talk about the Korg Nu Tekt NTS-1, and it shows that we have come a long way since the days of Radio Shack DIY synth contraptions. This Ikea-style digital open source kit is one of these instruments that ranges somewhere between a throwaway stocking filler and a legit high-tech music production tool. That's certainly not as impressive as a nerd cave full of mooks and profits, or is it? At the first glance, the NTS-1 is ticking quite a few boxes. You just have to fold them before. The synth is shipped as a DIY kit, but assembling it is no real challenge, even for people who are all thumbs like me. I do want some meatballs now. Right from the start, the sub-Walker-sized mono synth comes with a few classic and not so classic variable shape waveforms, that can be fattened up with a sub-oscillator or mangled in whatever way the oscillator model creators saw fit. There are the usual low-pass, high-pass, band-pass filters, which can be modulated with a basic filter envelope. Speaking of which, I used to complain about the simplified envelope controls that can be found on, for example, the Minilogue or Electribe 2, but they feel okay on a stripped-down instrument like the NTS-1. Korg implemented a second layer of controls that not only lets you access the aforementioned filter envelope, but also an LFO that can be routed to amplitude, pitch and the oscillator shape. Great for, but not limited to, PWM. I am a big fan of the FX section. It provides nice bread and butter modulation and delay FX and a truly gourmet reverb. The arpeggiator can be latched and offers a selection of preset scales, but no custom ones. Many manufacturers would have called it a day at this point, but Korg opted for a more open-source approach. There's a large variety of custom oscillators and FX that can be loaded onto the machine. It's the same format used in the Prologue and Minilogue XD. Some of these add-ons are free, some of them are really costly, and going through the entire ecosystem would go well beyond the scope of this episode. I dabbled around with Ruiz Maker's drum machine, which is still in beta stage, and Hypercubed Music's 808 synth is great fun. But I'm sure there will be a lively discussion in the comments about which ones are total must-haves. MIDI implementation is quite extensive too. So, why is this fascinating piece of technology on Bad Gear, you might ask? Well, it's basically two PCBs loosely held together by tiny screws. The potentiometers, display and buttons are as bare-bone as they get and, by nature, a bit flimsy, and you can easily fathom what people who don't like mini keys think of the little chromatic band-aid that is the main input device of the NTS-1. What is more, all connections including MIDI are mini jacks. There have been many reports about USB noise issues, there's no battery compartment, you can't save any patches, and I would be hesitant to put it into a backpack without any further protection. But hey, what do you expect for around $100? The NTS-1 is a very affordable instrument that is both feature-packed and extremely minimalist. Does it have a place in professional music production? You have already heard the little Korg synth in today's intro tune. We have definitely heard the words. No time to tidy up after assembling the unit. I really wanna try the waves oscillator and arpeggiator. Wow, that sounds like a real synth, especially with the internal FX on 11. The UI is simple yet versatile and allows for nice little surprises. However, these were only a few features the unit has in store in its original state. Let's have a listen to Hypercubed Music's chord oscillator in a more chill arrangement. This is of course no substitute for a real polysynth, but it sounds more than okay. Again, the synth delivers a solid foundation while the FX section puts the icing on the cake. It's a shame that you can't save patches though. The NTS-1 works great as the main protagonist of a doorless jam. It's about time to hook it up to the computer in this down-tempo trance matrix tech digital wireframe wasteland. Verdict. Releasing this little DIY instrument was a smart move by Korg. The NTS-1 is easy to use, versatile, and you can clearly tell that the underlying technology is based on instruments higher up the food chain. Sure, I wouldn't want to use it live without 2 backup instruments, 3 power banks, a custom-made enclosure, a MIDI controller and a full metal stereo DI box. But it can stand its ground sound-wise and lets you crave for more. It's less gimmicky than, let's say, a teenage engineering pocket operator, and although it isn't built for eternity, its design is timeless. Maybe, just maybe, Ikea teamed up with the wrong company. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.